It's not only how you're going to deliver on these services, but it's also the space that you fill up. And people don't recognize that you operate the way how you operate because of the fact that you have a lot of unresolved misgivings out there that you need to kind of deal with.
This season was brought to you by the Belize Public Utilities Commission.
Did you know that the purpose of the Public Utilities Commission is to regulate the electricity, water, and telecommunications sectors in Belize to efficiently provide the highest quality services at affordable rates, ensuring the viability and sustainability of each sector. For further information, kindly visit our office at Marina Towers, 2nd floor, number 4 Princess Margaret Drive, Belize City, or our website www.puc.bz. The Public Utilities Commission. We continue to serve you with efficient and diligent services.
Are you sore and achy, or are you just plain tired and weary? Have you been sitting for hours at your desk while your legs hurt, staring at your computer screen as you work? Are you that frontline nurse or public officer standing all day while your feet ache, attending to the needs of the community? I'm sure you've had long days, and I see you. I see your pain and the stress you've endured. I understand your need for that window to breathe, to take a break and let the soreness ease. The Charismatic Wellness Center will give you an hour vacation experience through massage therapy, providing you the much-needed relaxation and pain relief you so desire, and make you happy. Book your appointment today. Call or WhatsApp at 635-2202. Belmopan is the place to be. Come relax in our beautiful garden city.
Welcome to this edition of the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I'm your host, Mervin Budram, and I will be with you for the next hour. I want to welcome you back to another episode of the show. We've been having some really exciting conversations with inspirational people from all around the world. They've been giving us insights, they've been giving us life lessons, they've been giving us business tips that has helped us to grow, help us to improve our business and our life, right? And so tonight is no different. I'm very excited to introduce our guest. I've known him for a while. We've worked together in the entertainment space, and it's a pleasure for me to bring him to the screen tonight and just share his journey. He's a marketer. He's an expert in his own right. He's also have a lot of handles on mental health and lessons that he's learned on his own personal journey, and I'm really excited to hear all that he's going to share with us tonight. So without any further ado, I want to welcome to the screen Mr. Lucien Dawson. Good evening, Lucien. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm doing well this evening, actually.
Man, I'm really looking forward to our discussion. I want to thank you for joining us and just being a part of the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I always feel like it's better that the guests introduce themselves and share all that they're doing, that way that I don't have to butcher it and mess it up, right? So I keep it all natural. But yeah, please tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, help our audience to get to know Mr. Lucien.
Man, Mervin, where to start about me? Those who know me know that I'm really horrible at self-proclamation. I am a servant at heart, and that's really where my heart lies, and that's why it's so difficult for me to kind of put something in synopsis or to synopsize, what I do. But I've been in the marketing field for over 12 years, as you had previously said. I'm a father first, a husband first, then a father. And then I also dabble in the music world a little bit.
And that's where we overlapped and know each other from.
Yes, that's where we overlap. So I've worked as a promoter. I've worked as a as a, how would you say it, as a marketing consultant for some concerts that people know around that are mainstream to Belize today. I also, I used to manage a band back in
Yeah.
the day. Yes,
Ooh,
I used to
awesome.
manage the New Tide band.
Okay.
Yes, back in the day, and then thereafter, on the career side, like I said, I've been in the marketing field for over 12 years. I do own a business that's named Fitzgerald Communications that is undergoing another rebrand as well.
Okay.
One of the things that I've realized that as the business grew, a lot of evolutions happened, and the pandemic in particular for me was very revelatory. I realized a lot of things about myself, a lot of things that I needed to handle as an individual first. So I kind of killed my dream for a couple of years, and then now I am back on track with my business and being out here to ready to serve people who may want to, you know, get some more marketing insight, want to get more business insight. I realized that as well, before you even talk about marketing, you have to talk about the management of your business.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's glitz and glam, but no, you have to kind of really delve into your business and really understand where your business is and what is the purpose of your business. And I was having an interesting conversation with a business partner of mine, and he was telling me about the power of a why. And a lot of people out here fail at business, they fail at life, they fail at pretty much a lot of things because they don't have the why. They have not found that why they are doing it. And that is pretty much the same reason why I had to kind of put a pause on my business and kind of re-emerge. But a lot of evolution is happening, and a lot of growth is happening in that evolution.
Man, that is awesome. And you've touched on a very key points. There's several things I want to go back to actually. But one of them is you talk about the power of the why. And, I think it's a Simon Sinek, or there's a book out that starts with the why. And it's really a powerful truth, because if you understand your why actually is giving you purpose. That's really your purpose statement. So why do you exist? Why are you offering the service? Why are you the answer to a solution that exists? And when you are clear on your why, it gives you fuel to get up every day and go after it. Like for instance, my company, Task Belize, our why is to create a healthy business community. That has nothing to do with some of the service you would think that we offer initially, but our services is totally in alignment with why we come every day. As well as the show, we exist to inspire people to freedom and wholeness. And so when you understand your why, it really kind of then clarifies and defines that path that you must take and how you must go about do it, right? So I think that's very key. You talked about taking a couple years off to really get clear on your why. What did that process look like, and what did you have to go through as an individual to clarify the why, or to maybe get to the why for you?
Interestingly enough, Mervin, it took me to understand why I existed first. So there was a lot of personal conversation with my family, a lot of personal conversation with friends, and then it elevated into with my business partners. And it was there when everything began to become clear for me. The interesting part about my journey is that throughout this pandemic, and this pandemic has been very key for me. I've never caught COVID, but what happened to me is that my mental issues began to be more prevalent. I was working in a high stress environment. I had to deliver on some things, even though we were on lockdown. We had to get certain things done that seemed impossible with lockdowns happening here and there, but we got it done. And it was through those scenarios that I began to understand why I operate the way I operate and what needed to change, so that I could have really understood why I needed to do what I need to do. And so as well, I had to get evaluated. I had to do a psychiatric evaluation. I had to do a physical checkup. And that's something that I do every year now, a physical checkup. And a lot of people don't know this. I'm no doctor, but there are benefits to a physical checkup. It allows you to see what's happening with you in a synopsis. And yes, some of your general practitioners or an internist can tell you what's happening with you mentally and can refer you to the relevant doctors to get the help that you need. And that was very key for me. Throughout this pandemic, I found out that I had, or that I suffer from anxiety, and I am clinically depressed. I also suffer from a disease called a mental disease at that called dysthymia. And dysthymia, simply put, is a low mood disorder. So a lot of people will say, but why you look stressed out? It's not because I'm stressed out, it's because my body isn't producing what it needs to produce, so that I can be at optimal level. And this was what also was key for me, because I had to recognize, Merv, that if I'm going to be in this business, I have to push through these things. And so I had to admit to myself that I needed help with these things first and foremost, and then get the help, and then be accountable in the process. A lot of people feel like when they suffer from mental illness, that negates the fact that they should not be accountable for what they're going through. You should be accountable for what you're going through. And especially if you're in the business space, you are accountable to your clients. And so if you, for some reason, can't deliver on something, your client will not be pleased with you, and then you're going to lose business that way. And so a lot of entrepreneurs that I speak to, they say, but they don't really understand the market and blah blah blah. But do they while they don't understand the market, they understand their business. And especially my business that is primarily based to another business. I market to other businesses. They know why they exist. So how can I come in and advise businesses when I don't know why I exist, and what, and what space do I fill up? It's not only how you're going to deliver on these services, but it's also the space that you fill up. There are some people you have to understand in business, you're not for everyone. There are some clients that you will never get. It's not because there's anything personal about that. It's just at the end of the day, you don't fit into that niche, and understanding your niche and what you bring to the table. And that's just the reality of the fact that you have to also understand the niches that you fit, and that is going to be answered with your why.
Lucien, you're touching on a lot of good stuff, and I think I want to encourage our viewers. The part of why we do this show, part of why we do the way we do it, is so that you can learn strategies, life lessons, know-how from experiential people with experiential authority. People have gone through it, they've done it, they've had some of the pains you've had, they've had some successes that you want to have, and they're willingly sharing that with you. And I want to encourage you guys to pause if something is said and you don't you might not heard it clearly. You can pause it, rewind, listen to it again, bring it back again, because we want to, as I said earlier, we want all our business to be healthy. We want to have healthy business, and we want everyone to be free and whole in how they function personally and in our business, right? We want financial freedom as well. And so I want to go back a little bit, Lucien, because you're saying a lot, and I don't want our viewers to miss it. So I want to backtrack and kind of dive a little bit deeper into some of these things. You talked about you got a checkup, a general checkup, and then that's something that you're doing annually. You also got a mental health assessment and checkup. No, let's be real. That's taboo. Let's be real. That a lot of people, even with the general checkup, most people don't want to get a checkup because they're afraid of the results. They're afraid, so they avoid hospitals. They avoid going. I mean, I've done the same. When I was, when I just recently turned 39, and I went and I did a full physical because I want to know what's going on with me. I want to know how to avoid anything in the future. A lot of people don't naturally do that. Why do you think people have a hard time with just getting that assessment of where they're really at? And then why as well do you think the idea of mental health and going to see someone, going to see a counselor, seeking help, why do we typically avoid those things? What would you have to say about that?
Well, Merv, honestly, it's our culture that has to deal with that. Notions, for example, going to general checkup. The usual sentiment is, why are you going to put yourself through that stress?
Yeah.
The typical thing is, what you don't know won't hurt you. These are the things that perpetuate in our society. And especially our elders would say things like this. And so then you grow up with these things, and then you feel as if though you're free from these things, when the reality is, nah, bro. You need to understand that something was passed down to you why you have that notion in your head about a general checkup. The next thing, again, culture again with mental health, because it's something. And I want to say this because psychology is a discipline in the medical field that it's practically new. It came with the turn of the 20th century and modernization, going in to explore other forms of energy and stuff like that. Psychology came to being in that, and the reality is that psychology was also affiliated with a lot of inhumane experimentation on people, and history records that. And so then our society, especially in the Caribbean, the reality in the Caribbean is that, oh, you have a weak mind because you need to go and see a counselor. When the reality is, all of us have a mental health. Just like how we have physical health, we have a mental health. And so when we get extremely sick with a flu or with COVID, for example, we go to see the doctor sort of willingly when we're, kind of, I would say, when we're at the end and we say, okay, we must go to a doctor, we do that. But when it comes to mental health, we don't ever do it. We may be on the edge, and we may even be suicidal, and we do not go and seek help. We do not admit to someone else that we need help, because then the notion of you have a weak mind is perpetuated to you. And so that's the harsh reality, or the sad reality that exists around mental health, especially in Belize.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that through conversations like this and more conversation, we can see this shift in our culture, but also shift in the workplace, And so let's talk a little about the workplace. Let's talk a little bit about business and being an entrepreneur. You said something key earlier. You said that you have to be accountable. And we talked when we were talking off air, you were talking about how you set up accountability structure for yourself, because you can't use the mental health or your issues as a crutch. COVID, a lot of people, and I'll just be honest, a lot of people are using COVID as a crutch, and I'm not disregarding the effects of COVID. It really had a major global effect on a lot of families, a lot of people, and it was, and it still is something that's having a negative effect. However, at some point, we still have a responsibility to move forward, chart forward, serve our clients. We have a responsibility to show up and be as best as possible our A game. Talk to us about that whole aspect of the accountability structure that you had to set up, and even maybe some of the mindsets that people might need to be shattered in terms of, well, I have a mental health issue, or maybe this COVID and I can't deliver. Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
It's funny that you said COVID is an excuse for everything, and I sit in an environment where people started to use COVID as an excuse. And I could remember I sat in a meeting and everybody on their progress report was, well, because of COVID. And da, 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 da. So when they reached Lucien had a list of accomplishments. And I was the only person in the room that could have said, oh, well, we did this and we did that and we did that, and this was changed out, and we got this installed, and we got this commercial shoot done. And then everybody looked at me in the room like I was mad. Like, how can you be doing this? And how can you be doing this? And then there is a pandemic going on and there's limited movement. And people don't understand that you must innovate and get creative.
That's good.
And you have to get innovative. Let me use innovative, because I had a discussion this morning with an accountant, and she's like, I have no creative bone. And I explained to her, I said, suppose if something is bothering or something is impeding you from reaching your end goal or your end game, and then you said, listen, I have to see what is my ways around that, and you innovate a solution to that end game, you are creative right there. I think the term creative all oftentimes get muddled with those who can paint well or those who can decorate well, those who does just do the artsy stuff. We think about creativity only in that light, when creativity is much more and much bigger than that spectrum. It's not only in the art spectrum that creativity exists. Creativity exists in every spectrum of life, in science, in technology, in accounting. Yes, accounting.
Yeah.
You know, people don't recognize that the reality is that you have to get creative to get through that. And then touching a bit about me being accountable, I had to have some hard conversations with my wife, with my children. Yes, my children, I have two boys, one is 7 and one is 10, but I had to have some hard conversations with them. I also had to have hard conversations with my brother. He's also my pastor, not my physical brother, of course. We had to have some difficult conversation with my extended family. There was some conversation that had to happen. Some things happened in my family, and we had to have some difficult conversations and understanding what happened in the past and overcoming what happened in the past, and moving forward in forgiveness and reconciliation. And people say, man, Lucien, these things are irrelevant to business.
No,
and
it
people, yes, exactly. And people don't recognize that you operate the way how you operate because of the fact that you have a lot of unresolved misgivings out there that you need to kind of deal with. And I'm not saying that every misgiving that you have, you need to go and deal with, but the key ones with your family, with key friends, with key business partners, even that developing a relationship with my business partner and letting him know that, okay, this is what is happening to Lucien, and this is why I'm not delivering as I said, because I'm not perfect. There are days when I slip up. So I have to be accountable for why I slipped up. I have to also take the reprimand, and I have to take it with humility, because if I mess up and there's no reason for me to mess up, then I have to take the reprimand that comes along with it. And sometimes it comes along with financial repercussions. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, if you begin to understand what accountability is, it is not self-condemnation, it is not self-blaming, it is just allowing yourself to say where your shortcomings are and how you can fix those shortcomings, and then asking a partner, and this is where accountability partner comes in, asking a accountability partner or someone else to keep you on track. I have several accountability partners. I don't only have one, I have several. So I have one for business, I have one for my personal life, I have one for my marriage. I have at least 5 people. I have one for my business, like 2 people for my business. So it's not me alone. And while I don't have paid staff, these people are my support system that gets me through the difficult days, especially when you have a difficult client. It gets really heavy on you, and so you need a space to express that with confidence. And what I mean by confidence is having confidentiality, that these persons are going to keep your innermost secret private, and that it's not going to be all over the place either.
Yeah. You know, another form of accountability, and I've had this for myself, and it's been wonderful in helping me to grow, to look from get different perspective, but even to allow myself the process, is to have a coach. That's what a coach is all about. They help you, when you're on the field playing, you're not seeing yourself playing, but a coach is on the outside watching and seeing the bigger picture and help say, hey, actually, if you do this or make this adjustment, you can get where you need to go and you can score the goal, right? And so that's another part of accountability. And it's true, in business we need that, in our personal life we need that, and And Lucian, you said something as well earlier that really brought up for me the whole aspect of going back. A lot of us don't want to go back to the past because we want to move forward. I'm one of those guys who I like moving forward. But and I said this recently on one of my Facebook or Instagram posts. I often look back to assess. I look back not to blame or try to find who I can blame, but I look back to assess, to get clarity, to explain and understand why things are the way they are, so that I can impact my present, so that my future can be where I want it to go, right? And so these are things, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, we need to continually we need to continually keep a pulse on as we're charting our way forward. I always say this: working on me is working on my business. Working on my business is working on me. And I think that's a lot of what you're talking about as well. So when you were going in the room, and everyone's like, oh, because of COVID, then you said, oh, I accomplished this and I accomplished that and I accomplished this. What were some of the boundaries? What were some of the things that you had to tell yourself? And you talked about the innovation side, but there were some disciplines that you obviously had to kick in to deliver, right? I mean, and you had to deal with maybe people who were dealing with COVID and they felt they didn't have the ability to deliver, but you had to motivate them to deliver. Talk to us a little bit about what that process was in getting your team to deliver despite of COVID, despite that the norm for everyone was to kind of chill and laid back, but you had to say, hey, at the end, I have a report and I want to accomplish this. I want to reach my goals. So I had to rally my team. I had to get my team going.
Right.
So talk about that.
Right. Mervin, this is where a lot of networking and a lot of boundary setting was set in place. What happened for me in terms of how did I get to accomplish these things, especially in a lockdown, is that I had to network. I had to understand where my team lies and what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and what opportunities that they bring to the table, and also how do I complement that with the rest of the team. Also, a lot of motivation had to happen. You spoke about coaching earlier. I had to do a lot of coaching. I had to do a lot of encouragement to my team, and I had to kind of let them see the perspective from a different angle so that they are able to see. So it was a lot of intense work with the team that I work along with, as well. Because most of what I do is that I have to outsource. I handpicked my my vendors. What I meant is that I put my vendors through an interview process. I put them through a process for them to understand this is what is expected, and I don't expect excuses. And another catch-22 to that is that I was not allowed to give any excuse either. So if I can't get any excuse from you, I can't give you any excuses. And so that was kind of the hallmark of me kind of accomplishing what I accomplishing. Then going back to the why, Mervin, because the why was this: people needed to have access to the services. So I needed to ensure that signs were put up. I needed to ensure that we were communicating timely and efficiently, so that our clients could have understood, hey, this is what you needed to do so that you could access the service. It still existed. And so then in that field, that was throughout the pandemic, more money was made because communication was effective. And people don't understand that communication isn't just the fluff. It isn't just about putting out pretty ads. It's about a means to an end. People need to know. If people don't know, then there's no way for them to support you. And so as well, if you're in business, you have to understand that you must serve. You must serve. And if you cannot serve, then get out of business.
Yeah.
Simply put, because service lends itself to you going above and beyond without complaint. You can't complain. You can't come with the excuses, because if you want to make money, then your clients also need to make money. So, the old saying that we said, if I look good, you look good. It has to be like that. It has to be hand wash hand and two hand washes face. It has to be like that. And we oftentimes as entrepreneurs, we kind of only look at our own challenges, not recognizing the challenges that exist for the people that you serve as well.
Shining Star Health Center, located in Spanish Lookout, is committed to providing you with the very best holistic solution to any ailment, regardless of who you are, where you come from, or what you're going through. For more information, contact Shining Star Health Center at 672-3536 or 670-3536.
Lucien, you're really hitting on some really key points, and I really want to make sure, and I want to encourage our viewers to really take note of these things. Right now we're in a time where business is strained. The movement of cash, the movement is very strained because not just of the pandemic, but the pandemic has brought even additional issues. It's revealed the level of some of the poverty dynamics. It's revealed a lot within our nation, right? And so things are moving at a slower pace than we want it to move. And so it's crucial that our level of service is elevated, our level of communication is elevated. I think understanding, and what you're talking about, the more we understand how we're wired and understand ourselves, we can better serve our clients. Let's go a little bit back to you had mentioned, and this ties into the accountability, and as you learned about some of the mental disorders you were dealing with, one of them was the whole aspect of why do you look that way, and what happened, and why are you down and sad, look like sad or mad? And so how does that work, or how do you manage that in a space where we are typically known we should show up with energy? Like, we got to be energetic. The energy that we carry, we project. So in a marketing space, even in dealing with our clients, we have to have energy, and we have to bring that to the space. So talk to us a little bit about that, the importance of having that energy, but then also in your case, how you manage that, and how you probably have to put more effort than most people to show up at your A game.
Well, Mervin, when these conversations are happening, it's kind of, I'm in my office and I am just walking around the office, and it's just internal. People are seeing this side of me.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm having an episode, but it doesn't negate the fact that I have to put my best foot forward. It has to be intentional. It has to be intentional. Simply put, a disease or anything that you're going through, you have to be intentional about how you're going to treat it or how you're going to look at it. You're going to be, like, for me, for example, I know today that I had an interview. So today, before preparing for this interview, I made sure that I was not doing so much. I made sure that I was not cluttering my day with doing a lot of things at once, focusing on what I need to focus on. So when I come here on this interview, my mind is sharp. I'm ready to have a conversation. I'm ready to be engaging. So you have to be intentional. You have to also look for your own body signs. That I had to learn that. I had to learn when I had to say, hey, this is enough. Can we come back to this at another day? That's being respectful as well. There are days when you have to look at your clients and you have to say, listen, I know you're urgent in what you're doing. Just let's take a step back.
Yeah.
And let's just don't think about anything. Just don't do anything. Just take a step back. And let's come at it tomorrow. And when you come at it the next day, you find that the ideas are flowing, the perspective is flowing. So then you have the ability to think through things. And so the ability to step back, the ability to recognize when things are happening when things are happening, is also crucial and important. I know exactly when I'm having an episode, when I'm having a manic episode. I know when depression, when the symptoms of depression is getting overwhelming. I know what to do. My I am a part-time, I won't say a part-time, but I am a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a full-time employee. And so my employers in particular understand what I'm going through because I'm accountable to them as well.
Yeah.
And so then there are days when or there are moments in the day when I'm like, I have to come back to my desk. So I would go and I would take out a 5-minute walk somewhere. I just go and soak up the sun for 3 minutes and then come back to my desk, and you find that these things help you in such a way that that you never thought possible, just not to think about anything, emptying your mind. So yes, I had to be intentional about, how I use my energy, quote unquote, and knowing when, what to put my energy in, even taking on certain conflicts. There are certain conflicts that I had to say, we Creole people like to say, pick your battles wisely. That has been the motto of this pandemic, picking battles wisely. If you know somebody's adamant about having something done that way, then the notion or the mindset should be, so how can we get it done that way? And I can tell you this, in the past, like 5 years ago, Lucien, he would have been able to tell you every excuse in the book why it would not work. But Lucien 2022 can say, hey, okay, let's explore that option and let's see how that can get done. And then what it does is that it offers you a space of freedom. So then people begin to understand, okay, he is going to get the job done by any means necessary. And he respects the space that I come with. I work as a consultant. The biggest downfall of a lot of consultant, Mervin, is that they do not listen to their clients. They feel like because they have some sort of experience and degree that they can come in and tune businesses to how they view businesses, and not understanding how that proprietor and their staff sees the business and then complement that. So they come in as experts. You're not an expert in anyone's business. You're a partner to let their business be more efficient and make more money.
Lucien is and kind of standing on that, because I think there's a flip side to it as well. You said earlier, sometimes you have to tell the client, hey, I need a break, let's step back. A lot of entrepreneurs don't do that because of fear that they will lose the job, they will lose the client, and so they don't do that. So what would you encourage them along the lines of, I guess, the importance of doing that, or what has the response been from your clients when you do that? Like, has it been a positive response? Let's help entrepreneurs, I guess, get rid of some of that fear, because a lot of us just ram ourselves to the ground and we don't say, hey, I need to take a break, I need to take a pause because of XYZ, and because of that fear of we'll lose the job. And especially now, I mean, people are throwing in our face now, it's COVID, so there's tons of people that need work right now. So we're almost kind of like shooting ourselves in the foot because of fear. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, Merv, there has to be a conversation before taking on any job. I think many times we say, oh, yeah, and we sign contracts and then we get to work. No, I think there needs to be an initial conversation outside of the contract that also sets up expectations. What are your expectations for this job? What are your real expectations? Because your contract will not voice these things. And you also let them know what you expect from them as an entrepreneur, as a client. So you, the entrepreneur, needs to set your expectation from them. You have to let them know, listen, you need to give me X, Y, and Z in a timely manner so that I can work more efficiently for you. And the first thing before you, and then you get to work after that conversation is established. What you're doing there is that you're setting boundaries, or you're setting terms of how the business is going to run, or how the terms of this contract is going to run. And so that's what you need to do first, is to have an initial conversation. So that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is that you need to be consistent in how you deliver your services. So you need to be consistent. You need to be meeting deadlines. You need to be responsive. You need to pay attention to what they're giving. And then it comes to when the difficult part of saying, can you give me a break? Then you have all right and freedom to do that, to say, listen, exactly. And more than a lot of time, it isn't a personal break you're asking for, you know. If you're my client, Mervin, right? And I'm meeting with Task Belize's staff, and there's a lot of creative differences in the room. At that point, I'm recognizing that I need to change my strategy. Yeah. And maybe I can't come up with a strategy in my mind in that moment to kind of resolve it. So then the prudent thing to do in that situation is to say, listen, everyone, let's take a break here. Let's put a pause here. Let's put our thoughts to paper, and let's come back another day and deal with this. They are going to respect you. Why? Because they know that you're hearing them. You make them feel as if though they're being heard. You make your clients feel as if their opinions matter. They hired you because they see your expertise. They know the experience that you have. But at the end of the day, no one knows their business better than themselves. Yeah. They have that why. So as entrepreneurs, as consultants, I'm speaking specifically to consultants here, you are just a conduit for them to recognize the why. And when they recognize the why, then the clarity comes. And then you will be able to serve them better. So that's what we do as consultants. And even though if you're serving as an accountant, if you're consulting in the accounting field, if you're a consultant in the marketing field, this perspective, it is universal. You have to let them see the why first. When they see the why, then you'll be able to serve them in a better capacity. So that's the reality.
I agree. And I definitely, you said consultants, accountants, but in truth, these are principles that goes across the board for business. It's customer service. It's really how we serve our customers. A lot of what you're talking, Lucien, I really appreciate it. You're really pulling out the nuts and bolts of customer service and giving good service to our customers. And I really want to thank you for bringing that perspective to the show, because it is such a lacking thing in our nation. But it's something that I know there's a lot of us who's starting to really work and improve on those areas. So any final thoughts as we're getting ready to wind down?
Well, Merv, I want to say this, that in marketing, which I serve, is that, and you said this on Instagram a couple of days ago, I really love that reel that you did about being solutions oriented. Yeah. People hire you for solution. People hire your product for a solution. So if you have a product and you need skincare, that's a solution. Maybe your product is a solution for better skincare. People, marketing in particular, is using the inbound method. So it's a more mindset driven, it's a relationship driven set of ideas when it comes to marketing. Gone are the days when you could just put out an ad and you blanket it out there and you put out a lot of mass media things and people are going to come to your business. No, people are getting smarter with their money. Yeah. People are going to consider how they align their personal brands with whatever brand they want to support. So this is why cancel culture is so relevant today. While I don't agree with it, I understand the sense. In the market, millennials take up most of the purchasing power nowadays days. Mm-hmm. Most of it, not all of it, but most of it. And this is called the hero generation. And so they are very mindful about who they support and how they're going to use their money and what their money is going into. So if you're an entrepreneur and you don't give back to the community, if you don't align yourself with any of the causes like the environment, HIV and AIDS, youth development, sports, if you don't do that as an entrepreneur, you're not going to get the support, because you understanding who has the purchasing power in this day and age will allow you to understand, hey, I need to put more money into this. So people are now following businesses who are into the environment, who pump back money into their communities, who are developing, who mentor their communities. These are the people that are being supported heavily in our communities. So my final thought is that you need to change your perspective about getting your business out there. It may be that you need to go into your community and serve your community, and then market on the heels of that, market your business.
Yeah.
And people might say it may be opportunistic. No, it's not. It's just you have to align yourself outside of your business to say, hey, as a human being, I recognize that this is the ill and this is what needs to be fixed, and this is me putting in my pound to fix that situation. And so that's my final thought there.
Awesome. Really, really love it. I really, really appreciate your insight, Lucien. I think you've brought such a fresh perspective on customer service, on self-awareness, and how that really ties in with how we can serve our clients and grow our business. I think it's crucial to take those times to understand the why. It's crucial to understand your personal why, but also your business why, and then to make sure that they're in alignment. All right. And then I love how you graciously said, for us to listen to our clients. Yes, we might be an expert in a specific area, but the client is seeing the whole business and they know the business, and then we need to listen to their needs and listen to their hearts. It's been very, very awesome insights today. Really appreciate you. Appreciate what you've brought to the show. I do have one question for you. From all the years of what you've done and how you've been serving, working both with your job as well as in your business and working with different people, what has surprised you the most on your journey?
What has surprised me, Merv? That is a hard question to ask. But I think the most surprising thing that has happened to me is that I was on a set working on a project for a non-governmental organization. And it involved, me questioning or interviewing people. But I was just the script coach on this particular set. And then at the end of the day, they're like, Lucien, you have to interview Mayor Wagner tomorrow. So that was the most surprising thing that happened to me.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so I did that.
Awesome. Well, man, around here, we often say treat every day like it's a Monday. And we say that because for us, Monday is the day we're getting ready to go and conquer the week, conquer our goals, go after it. When you hear treat every day like it's a Monday, what comes up for you?
Treat every day as an opportunity to reinvent yourself.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. And with that said, we want to say thank you to Lucien for being a part of this episode. Lucien, how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, so you can get in touch with me, 610-5461, or you can send me an email to lucien@lfitzandco.com. So that's Lucien at LFITZANDCO.com.
Awesome, and we really, really appreciate you. Thank you guys for having us in your home tonight. We want to thank you guys for having Lucien and myself just share and have this discussion, and you enjoy it. Please make sure that you share your takeaway in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, we want to hear your comments. We want to know what you think about this discussion. So share your takeaways in the comment section. Share this video with someone who you believe will be a benefit to. And we want to say thank you to our friends on TNC. Those who are watching on TNC, we want to say thank you for watching. Those who are watching on Caribbean Festival in Europe, thank you for watching. And our friends in Antigua and Barbuda and the Caribbean region who are watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the next episode. This is Mervin Budram signing off. I will say God bless you.
Did you know that the purpose of the Public Utilities Commission is to regulate the electricity, water, and telecommunications sectors in Belize to efficiently provide the highest quality services at affordable rates, ensuring the viability and sustainability of each sector. For further information, kindly visit our office at Marina Towers, 2nd floor, number 4 Princess Margaret Drive, Belize City, or our website www.puc.bz. The Public Utilities Commission. We continue to serve you with efficient and diligent services.